GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good night, Montreal.
Local content creator has taken to the streets today, gathering discarded but functional items from sidewalks and posting them as treasures on social media. The initiative began this morning on July 1st and continues as the creator combs the island's busy corridors, from the Plateau to the Myland, rescuing everything from intact umbrellas to working power tools. Each find is photographed, described, and uploaded with a brief note about how many usable objects end up in the trash. The project aims to spark public awareness of everyday waste and encourage residents to think twice before discarding items that could be reused. Viewers can follow the series online to see the latest discoveries and learn simple ways to reduce landfill contributions. The effort has already drawn a modest online following, suggesting the message is resonating across the community.
Today, a wave of movers, friends and tenants flood the streets, hauling furniture and boxes as a scorching heat wave grips the city. The sweltering temperatures have pushed many to start their relocations early, hoping to beat the relentless sun that will dominate the week ahead. Residents say the oppressive heat makes traditional moving days feel unbearable, so crews are working in the early morning and late evening to avoid the peak heat. Some landlords report a surge in lease turnovers, while neighbors describe sidewalks lined with rolling carts and portable fans. City officials remind people to stay hydrated and to keep pathways clear for emergency vehicles. The heat wave, expected to linger through the week, keeps the moving momentum alive across the island. Even popular parks such as Montreal see fewer joggers as residents stay indoors to escape the blaze.
About 600 tenants gathered this morning in the downtown core to protest the sharp rise in rental prices. Organized by the Coalition Against High Housing Costs, demonstrators marched along St. Laurent Boulevard, holding signs that warned of a shrinking pool of affordable units. Speakers said rent hikes over the past year have outpaced wage growth, leaving many families scrambling for shelter. The protest remained peaceful, with participants demanding stronger rent control measures and greater investment in affordable housing. City officials have not yet responded to the demands, but the turnout underscores growing frustration among renters across the island citywide. Police reported no arrests and cleared the streets by early afternoon. The demonstration follows a series of similar actions in recent months, as housing affordability becomes an increasingly urgent and pressing issue for residents.
The Ministry of Public Security has issued a tornado risk warning for southwestern Quebec, as severe thunderstorm alerts remain active across multiple regions. The warning was released Wednesday evening, July 1, and the threat persists. Officials note that dangerous thunderstorm conditions are elevating the tornado risk. Meteorological officials say the current thunderstorm environment raises the probability of a tornado forming in the area. At the same time, violent thunderstorm warnings continue to affect several other parts of the province. Residents in the warned zone are being advised to stay alert, secure outdoor objects, and monitor updates from local authorities. Emergency services are on standby to respond to any incidents. The ministry will maintain the warning until conditions improve, and authorities will continue to monitor the storm system and update the warning as needed.
Hydro-Quebec, the province's state-owned utility, unveiled a new electricity tariff aimed specifically at its highest consumption residential customers. The proposal released this afternoon marks the latest adjustment in the utility's pricing structure, which it revises regularly to balance demand across the province. Under the plan, households that rank among the top tier of electricity use will face a higher per kilowatt-hour rate, while lower usage customers will retain existing pricing. Hydro-Quebec officials said the measure is intended to encourage more efficient consumption and to fund ongoing infrastructure upgrades. The regulator will review the tariff before it can be implemented, and a public consultation period is expected to follow. The announcement comes as the utility continues to grapple with rising demand during peak summer months and the province's broader climate objectives. If approved, the new rates would take effect with the billing cycle beginning in October.
We'll hear how a musician recovered a stolen rare trumpet at the Jazz Festival, a tale you'll want to hear. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back, everyone. That was a quick break. Let's dive into today's headlines, then Rachel will take us through the top local stories.
During the Montreal Jazz Festival, a musician from Lanaudière suffered the theft of a rare trumpet. The instrument, described as a valuable handcrafted piece, was taken by an individual later identified as a homeless person. Police and festival staff launched a search, and the trumpet was recovered earlier today from a nearby homeless encampment. The musician, who was performing on the main stage, said the loss would have been a serious blow to his career, but expressed relief that the instrument was found intact. Authorities noted the incident underscores the challenges of securing personal belongings in crowded public events. The recovered trumpet will be inspected before returning to the artist, who plans to resume performances later this week. Festival organizers reiterated their commitment to safety for performers and attendees alike in the city.
Environment Canada has issued a heat wave warning for southern Quebec, saying the humidex could climb to 45 as the region swelters under relentless sunshine. Officials note that such a reading signals extreme heat and humidity, conditions that can strain vulnerable residents, overwhelm power grids, and make outdoor work hazardous. Schools and businesses are advised to adjust schedules, while health officials urge people to stay hydrated, seek shade, and limit strenuous activity during the hottest part of the day. The warning remains in effect throughout the week, with temperatures expected to stay well above normal. Residents are reminded that heat-related illnesses can develop quickly, especially for seniors and young children, so checking on neighbors and keeping cool spaces available is crucial as the heat persists. Emergency responders are on standby to assist anyone showing signs of heat exhaustion.
Montreal city officials have opened an online consultation to shape the next phase of the bike path network, but cyclists are now voicing serious concerns. Since early June, the platform has collected comments on proposed lanes, yet riders argue the questionnaire lacks independence and could expose personal information. Participants point to vague data handling promises and question whether the results will truly reflect the community's needs. The debate has intensified as advocacy groups organize petitions and social media campaigns urging the municipality to guarantee anonymity and third-party oversight. With the survey still active, cyclists warn that any breach of privacy could deter honest feedback and undermine the planning process. The city has responded that it follows provincial privacy regulations, but the controversy remains a focal point for riders seeking transparent, data-safe engagement. Officials say the input will shape decisions on new routes slated for the upcoming summer season.
The province's largest waste burial site in Terrebonne is undergoing an urgent expansion today to accommodate an extra 1.2 million tons of material. Officials say the megasite, which already handles the bulk of Quebec's landfill needs, will be enlarged to keep pace with rising disposal volumes. Construction crews have begun work on additional cells and reinforced liners to ensure the new capacity meets environmental standards. The move aims to prevent overflow at existing sites and to maintain a single, centralized location for municipal and industrial waste. Residents near the facility will see increased truck traffic as the site ramps up operations, while the government stresses that the expansion follows strict regulatory review. The project is slated to continue through the coming months, adding substantial storage, while the province evaluates long-term waste reduction strategies.
On Thursday, June 30th, the Quebec government announced a comprehensive redesign of Highway 10 between Brossard and Carignan. The plan calls for dedicated lanes exclusively for buses and high-occupancy vehicles, alongside a full refurbishment of the aging pavement and bridge structures. Officials say the new lanes will streamline connections to the REM commuter rail, giving South Shore commuters faster, more reliable access to the rapid transit system. The province's broader roadway program aims to cut bottlenecks on corridors that feed the REM network, hoping to shift more drivers into shared ride options and public transit. Construction is slated to begin later this year, with the upgraded stretch expected to be operational in the early 2030s. Residents along the corridor can anticipate temporary detours and noise as the work proceeds. Daily commuters anticipate shorter travel times during peak periods once the lanes open.
And now, let's turn to the forecast and see what tonight's weather has in store.
Western jet streak drives lingering rain, while a stubborn high keeps temperatures near record levels. On this date, Montreal once burned at 33.9 degrees Celsius in 2018. a peak that rode the tail of an unprecedented heat wave across the province. The opposite extreme fell to 15.1 degrees Celsius in 2016, recorded during a sudden Arctic dip that snapped a mild summer stretch. Normal highs for July 1st hover around 29 degrees, with lows near 22, so today's 33 degrees sits just shy of the all-time mark, while the nighttime low of 22 remains comfortably above the historic minimum. Radar now shows a narrow band of rain sliding eastward from the western suburbs. Echoes intensify around 9 minutes past 9, peak at 10, then taper off by 10:15. The western jet at 74 kilometers per hour steers the cells straight toward downtown, delivering the heaviest droplets just before 10. By 10:30, the rain will have cleared the island, leaving a quiet, high-pressure dome. With the scan clearing, we turn to tonight's outlook. At 11 tonight, the city sits under light rain with a temperature of 25 degrees and humidity near 70%. The western wind blows at 19 kilometers per hour, gusting up to 42, but the forecasted maximum will be 27 kilometers per hour from the southwest, enough to feel a brisk push. A near-average pressure pattern is holding steady, while a fast-moving jet stream at 74 kilometers per hour from the west aloft channels any lingering moisture eastward, ending the drizzle by midnight. UV index remains at 5, though the sun is down. A province-wide severe thunderstorm watch and heat warning are in effect for the island and surrounding regions, so remain alert to sudden gusts and rapid temperature spikes. With the rain clearing, we move to the 5-day outlook. Looking ahead, Thursday will rebound to a high of 33 degrees and a low of 23 under clear skies, driven by the same western jet that keeps the ridge in place. Friday remains warm at 32 with another clear night, as high pressure persists. Saturday cools to 27, low 19, and a modest 30% chance of rain appears as a weak trough nudges the jet, bringing isolated showers. Sunday shifts to overcast, 29 high and 19 low, as moisture from the Gulf pushes inland. Monday repeats the overcast pattern, high 29, low 21, with lingering clouds and light drizzle possible. The week stays on the warm side, with occasional rain windows and steady breezes below 30 kilometers per hour. And that's your weather. Remember, the wrap is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up, traffic updates, today's must-see events, and a look at the Canadians in season, plus a spotlight on business. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
And now here's Jason with sports.
A massive Canada Day for the Montreal Canadiens. Here is what's happening. The Canadiens made a major commitment on Canada Day, locking up Ivan Demidov to an 8-year contract extension. Sportsnet's Eric Engels says the deal could turn out to be a significant win for Montreal, a franchise building around a core piece for the long term. An end of an era in Montreal, the Canadiens have traded forward Brendan Gallagher to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for future considerations. Gallagher, who spent years as one of the most recognizable faces in a Habs uniform, heads west according to CBC Sports. Canadiens goaltending legend Carey Price is headed to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Price was elected as part of the 2026 class alongside Pekka Rinne, Keith Tkachuk, and Cindy Curley in the player category. CBC Sports reported the announcement earlier this month.
On a crisp Saturday morning on St. Laurent Boulevard, the aroma of fresh coffee drifted from a tiny bakery where a handful of volunteers were gathered around a table strewn with flyers. Among them, Eric Duhaime, the Quebec Conservative leader, unfolded a handwritten note addressed to Radio Canada, asking that the upcoming provincial leaders' debate be moved from Montreal to Quebec City. The room buzzed as a retired schoolteacher, a university student, and a local bus driver read the request aloud, each seeing a chance to bring the province's conversation closer to the heart of the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean region. One vivid moment stood out. A 12-year-old girl lifted her sketch of the historic Château Frontenac, declaring that a debate in Quebec City would let the next generation feel the pulse of their heritage. The group responded with applause, their faces lit by the sunrise through the bakery's window, and they pledged to share the letter with neighbors, inviting more voices into the dialogue. It's a reminder that even a single letter can spark a community's hope for connection and shared purpose.
In the heart of St. Laurent Boulevard, under the glow of historic brick facades, the chefs of 4 Montreal restaurants gathered as the world's 50 best announced its North American list. Chef Dominique of Mont Lapin stood beside his team, a modest wooden board holding a single, perfectly caramelized carrot, the dish that earned the restaurant the 5th spot. Across the table, the owners of Takei. L'Express and Le Club Chasse et Perche exchanged quiet nods, their eyes reflecting the soft amber of the street lamps. The announcement, streamed live to diners across the continent, highlighted how Montreal's culinary scene has moved from a regional secret to a global benchmark. What makes the story vivid is the moment when a young sous chef, notebook in hand, whispered that the ranking felt like the city's own love letter written in flavor. The collective sigh that followed was less about competition and more about shared pride. For Montreal, the recognition is more than a ranking. It is a testament to the city's relentless creativity and hospitality. It's a reminder that the flavors of this neighborhood continue to inspire beyond borders.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on The Wrap. That daring content creator turning abandoned sidewalk treasures into art was a highlight tonight. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. Stay cool, and as the city sizzles, keep hydrated, stay curious, and see you then.